Hi, I'm Donna Reed, and this is Donna Reed Talks Voice. Today I'm working with Anne. Hi, Anne.
Hi, Donna.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your singing journey. Let me introduce one little thing. Anne has been studying with me for how long?
I don't quite know, it's been at least 7 years, I think.
That
But
long, yes.
after the COVID and all the breaks we take, and so it's not
And
7 straight years, but
right, but yes, with all of that. And Anne is a very interesting student in that she's not a professional, and not that I always work with professionals, obviously, but she is more interested in the study of voice than learning to sing because she wants to sing a particular song in a particular way. Or I want to have you explain that a little bit because that's so fascinating that you're doing this just for the love of the study of singing. So please kind of explain your journey with that.
where to start? You know, I always wanted to sing, but was afraid to. It started with my grandmother. Everybody was making fun of her when she was singing, so I wouldn't dare even start there. But at some point, growing older, I said, well, if she was brave enough to do it, I should be able to do the same. So I started voice lessons. I had three different teachers before I found Donna. I think it was three or two. And with all of them previously, I was stuck after, I don't know, after a year or year and a half. I knew I was not moving forward, and I kept changing until I found, the real thing. And so I started with Donna, and I thought I wanted to sing. So she advised me to go with a friend of hers who's a piano teacher or pianist.
He's a yeah, pianist coach.
Yeah, and I took lessons with him, or I was singing my songs. And after COVID, this stopped, and I continued with Donna. And I realize now that it's more, as you said, Donna, it's more, I enjoy singing for myself here and there, but it's not just that, it's just the subtle differences. It's a matter of freeing your voice and discovering who you are, um, through the process of being um, yeah, being freer and freer in your voice and hearing more. And so it's really a self-awareness discovery.
I'm going to quote my late husband Cornelius, as I quote a lot. And his third book is called Voice, Psyche, and Soma, which is available now on Amazon. It could be print on demand or it could be a Kindle. Um, and he said in that book, he said, you free the voice and you free the self. And he, exactly as you described, he said, freeing the voice is a question of self discovery. And I found that for myself when I studied with him, absolutely. And I love that you are doing that journey for yourself. You know, so many people who study, and it's fine if you want to sing and perform, be a performer, that's amazing. Yes, do that. But so many people study with that end in mind, as opposed to just, I just want to free my voice. I want to find out who I am vocally and take that little journey. Um, and when Anne has lessons, she asks questions. You know, she says, "Oh, well, why did you do that? And what about this? And what about that?" And she's just so interested in the process, which is fascinating. I mean, it's just a different way than most students. Again, what they're doing is fine. What you're doing is fine. But I really wanted to point that out because it's so unique.
Thank you. Well, let me return the compliment, if I may say so, because your way of teaching is very unique. I never felt, I told you at first I was so afraid of being judged and of being ridiculed and made fun of. That was a big part in me, that I had to overcome. And but never in my lessons with you do I feel self-conscious or judged or anything like that. To the contrary, you know, it's so much. It's always your job. It's never mine. It's always your fault. It's never mine.
Yes,
I mean, it's
correct.
so freeing. Not that it's anybody's fault, but you always like, you know, let me set it up a different way that
Yes,
we
yes.
manage. So this is so freeing, and then little by little you gain trust in yourself, and here we are. You know, I'm
Yes.
enjoying those classes like you have no idea.
And
This
that's
is
the
the best
bottom
part.
line. You know, everybody who studies anything, and people for sure, I want to make sure when they're studying with me that at the end of the lesson, they're happy, they're having fun. This should be fun. This should be an enjoyable thing
Yeah.
instead of, you know, oh, I have to do blah, blah, blah. And I like that you brought up that you don't feel judged because that is so extremely important to me for every single student. I do not judge. This is not a place of you do it right or you do it wrong. This is not that place. This is we free the voice the best we can. And you're right, it's my responsibility. If something's not going efficiently, I need to set it up a different way. I need to explain it a different way. I need to find a different exercise. I need to do all of that. You know, the people who want to perform and audition and all of that, save the judgment for the auditions. Let them judge, let them do whatever. And even there, you shouldn't care because we all know, anybody who's been in the business, you could be amazing and you don't get the role because you don't fit the costume or something ridiculous, or you know, you don't match the height of the person you're going to be singing against, whatever. So one really has to get that judgment out of their heads and say, you know what, this is what it is. If I want to be hired for it, you either like me or you don't, and I go on to the next. It's a real important point. But let's have you sing a little bit and then see what happens with that. So do the exhale and the inhale the way we always do, and you know, get the air flowing, which I love to do with everybody. And again, as people are watching this, you can do it along with. Why not breathe? Breathing's always good. And then notice when you do that, if you're doing this at home, does it make you a little lightheaded at the end, or does it not make you lightheaded? And again, no judgment, just noticing. Right. If it makes you a little lightheaded, then maybe you should breathe a little more often. So, and I know it doesn't because I always ask you, and every once in a while I ask you, and you always say, no, no, I'm not lightheaded. So you're used to breathing. Um, Now let's do an oo staccato, just like that. See what happens. Good. Now, does that still seem like head voice on the bottom, or does it seem like it's headed toward a chest voice?
Toward a chest voice,
Okay.
but still some head voice in it. Yeah.
Right, right, because it's the oo vowel. I'll tell you what then. Let's go right with the ah vowel from the bottom up. Obviously, we're going to start with some kind of a chest voice and just see how it mixes up and then comes back down.
Ah, 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 ah.
Good. Now, what did you notice with that? Anything in particular?
The last one, there was towards the end, there was a little bit of a struggle finding the right register balance,
On the top note?
going back down.
Going back down. Okay, so let's do it again. Kind of notice, where does your voice seem to want to go? Where's there more of a chest voice? Where's there more of a head voice? We'll just observe it, and then we'll find what we want.
Ah.
Now, the first thing I would do, now that I've heard it again, to make it a little bit smoother and make it a little more efficient, is don't be so loud with the chest voice on the bottom. So
Yes.
it's going to start with a chest voice, but just reduce the volume a little bit, and then just see where it goes. And did that make it a little bit more efficient?
Yeah, yes, especially going back down, there was less of a chest voice.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So the chest voice, and it was throughout, the chest voice was pretty present. You know, on the bottom, it was pretty on the louder side, which is fine. That's what you wanted to start with. We start with that. But then as we went higher with it, that louder chest voice on the bottom made it a little more difficult to have that transition to the head voice on the top. So then we just reduced the chest voice. But now I'm going to go back down to the first note we did. And we did this in the last lesson, so I'm going to try it again. I'm going to do the same with different consonants and see what the consonants do to the sound. And do we like it? Do we not like it? What do we want to do with that? So let's do the first one with a gla. Gla, 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 gla.
Gla 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 gla.
I like that. That's nice. What was interesting is that the chest voice wasn't, I don't know if you consciously held back the chest voice, but the chest voice wasn't as aggressive as it was before.
Yes. I
So
didn't hold it back, but I think that maybe having it
maybe the
done.
GL, exactly, just
Yeah,
help that out.
yeah.
Now, do it with an F, fa, 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 because usually with a G, a little bit more chest voice comes in with the G consonant. For whatever reason, the chords come together. There's a little bit more chest voice. With the F, fa, 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 with that little bit of airflow, usually it's more head voice. That may not happen here, but let's see what happens. So fa, 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 fa.
Fa 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 fa.
All right, I didn't hear that much of a difference from the gla, right?
No.
All right, let's do just the L. La, 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 la.
La 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 la.
Now that's interesting. I didn't like that as well as the gla or the fa. It was okay. I mean, all of these are
Yeah.
good, but we're
Yes.
just, seeing which one is the most efficient, let's say. All right, let's try a P. Pa, 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 pa.
Pa 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 pa.
Okay, but I still like the gla and the fa. Now let's see. Do an M, and I rarely use M's or N's. I'm glad I brought that up because I rarely use that in exercises, because a lot of people do use M's or even N's because they want the tone to get quote unquote forward, which I don't fuss with those things, as anybody who's watched my series knows. But there should be a way of doing an M or an N without making it sound nasal. So one of the problems with that forward placement is that you get ma 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 or na na. I mean, you get this nasal sound, which I think is annoying. You can get bright and you can get belty, but it doesn't have to be nasal. But let's see with you, what does the M do? Ma 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 ma, and come back down. Let's just hear the sound.
Ma 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 ma.
Now, see, that's interesting. I didn't hear that as nasal at all, but I did hear it as a little bit brighter. I don't know if you noticed that, and it was subtle.
Brighter than even the pa?
Yeah, I think so. I
Okay.
mean, again, that's what my ear
Okay.
is saying.
Okay,
Maybe if I
maybe,
compare
yeah.
the two, I would disagree, but that's what I heard
Okay.
right off the bat. But let's see what happens with an N. Na 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 na.
Na 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 na.
Yeah, I am actually not unhappy with that. Now, of all of those consonants, was there one that was easier? Did you like the sound of the ah after the gla or the fa or the whatever? Or you could say, no, they all seem fine, whatever.
Well, they certainly sound different. The gla and the fa felt richer in some ways, and the
Yeah,
other ones um, lighter. I don't know what term to use.
right. So what I'm hearing is that you're right. The gla and the fa, there seemed to be a little bit of a rounder sound to the ah with those two. With all the other consonants, especially the ma and the na, it's a little bit of a brighter sound.
Yeah,
Now, this is an interesting thing to do. This is when one wants to have a particular sound, depending on what you're singing, then you find the sound, and then if there's a consonant or another vowel that changes the sound, then what you need to do is match that other vowel, and or get not have the consonant influence the vowel to make the sound you don't want.
I see.
So we're gonna do go back to the gla 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 gla, and notice in particular the ah vowel and what happens with that.
La gla 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 gla.
Good. Now, do you notice the shape of the ah when you're doing that gla gla gla? Now I'm gonna set it up this way. You're gonna do gla, and then you're going to do ma. Now the ma we already know is going to make the ah brighter, but we're not going to let it make the ah brighter. So gla 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 ma 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 ma. So watch the shape of your ah so that it matches what comes out of the gla.
Gla 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 ma 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 ma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But now I'll tell you what. Let's do that same thing. Now let's do it here. First, just do the gla gla gla, obviously in a head voice, and let's hear what happens with the sound.
La gla 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 gla.
Good. And do you like that sound? I think that sound is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously it's different from the chest voice, but it still has that little bit of a rounder sound.
Right.
So, gla, 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 ma, 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 ma. And again, make sure the ah stays round.
Gla 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 ma 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 ma.
Good. Now, we're going to go the other way. You're going to go back down here and go back to the na, 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 na. And just let whatever sound wants to come out, you let it come out. We already know it's probably going to be a little on that brighter side. And we'll just notice that, and then notice what that ah is doing, the shape of that ah.
Na 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 na.
Good. Now, you're going to do na, 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 gla, 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 gla. Now, when you do the gla, make sure the ah is the same ah as the na.
Na 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 gla 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 gla.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, let's do that same thing up here in a head voice.
Na 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 gla 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 gla.
Yeah. So again, we can consciously, if there's a consonant that it can make the vowel do one thing or the other, we can consciously notice what the vowel is doing and then have the vowel do what we want it to do. Again, it shows you the emphasis of the vowel, and it's the quality of the vowel that gives you the quality of the sound that you want in a particular song. Now, we got two different qualities. We have one that was a little bit more vertical this way, the other one horizontal this way. But now I'm going to really change and do something else altogether. Um, you're going to do this with an oo to an ah, no consonants, and do ooh ah, and really let the vowel, the ah, be very round on the very round side, and just have it kind of match the ooh. Yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah. And then we get a rounder ah matching the oo, and that's why I preceded the ah with the oo, so you get that rounder sound. But now again, we're going to go the opposite way. You're going to do from an ah to an ah, ah, and let that ah match the ah and be very horizontal this way. Good, very different sound.
Yeah.
So again, we decide then, what sound do you want? Now, knowing the kinds of things that you like to sing, you are more drawn toward the rounder ah than the broader ah. But there are some things that you sing where, you know, you want that little bit more aggressive, a little bit broader ah. But you usually don't go for the real belty things. We have looked at that in the past, you know, different songs, and it's just kind of not your personality to do the belty stuff. Now, now, on the other hand, it's not that you do classical, although you have sung some classical songs, you know, with that rounder sound. But in working all those different phrases of different songs here and there with you, we found exactly what we did in the lesson here, that we can gear your voice one way or the other to make one sound or another sound. Now, what's good about having a voice that's free enough to do that is that you can do that. You don't have just one sound and then you become a boring singer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are some singers that you listen to a whole album and you're kind of, all right, after the third song, I'm bored. I'm just, that's, you know, it all sounds the same. I don't care what they're singing. But then there are others where you could just listen to them forever and ever and ever because everything is just a little bit different, a little bit more, you know, interesting, right?
Right.
Now, I want to do one more thing because we've done the middle and we've done the low. Well, let's play around with the high. Let's just let it fly and see what your voice wants to do. Now, I'm going to ask you, because again, we've been working for so long. Whenever I approach the high notes up here, I do it in several different ways. Is there one way that you particularly like to get to the high notes better than another way?
I'm not sure. You know, we experience that sometimes if we start from the beginning and go for too many notes, then the top one is sometimes a little less free than if we go a little quicker. But you know, it may depend from one time to another too. So I don't know.
Right, that's true. And to your point that you just said is, yes, sometimes when we go and when we go up half step, half step, half step, and this happens with a lot of people, we can't help it. It's like, oh, it's another half step. It's another half step. It's another. Sometimes it's easier to just start with a high note and say, okay, let's just do the high note. So there's a couple ways I always go up there. I can either do a fast ga ga ga. I can do an oo staccato. There's a lot of different ways. I'm really having nothing that's coming to my head right now that I want to do. So I'm going to try them both. I'm going to have you do, and I'm going to start on the high side. Not high, but you know, higher than normal. So I'm going to have you do an oo staccato. Just once through and see what happens. Okay, no, fine, good enough. And we're starting on the high side. It needed a little more energy, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Now do ga ga ga.
Ga 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 ga.
All right, see, so today, again, that's why you change things every day. Your voice seems to want to do ga 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 today rather than the staccato. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go a little higher with it. Just let it fly.
Ga 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 ga.
Exactly. Now, really important about this, everything that you're singing is fine, it's in tune. But I always say this to all of my students, let it be out of tune. I don't care if you're singing the right notes, because this particular exercise is just about letting it fly, letting it go somewhere else.
Ga 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 ga.
Exactly. Now, be careful on the very last note. There was a little bit of a push there. You need the energy for the top, that was perfect. On the way back down, you don't have to work so hard.
Ga 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 ga.
Yes, yes.
Ga 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 ga.
Yeah.
Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga.
Good. Do that one again. Just let that top note do something weird and different.
Ga 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 ga.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. And that was a C sharp. And I know you're not sure, what, notes and all of that, but just for my listeners. So the B and the C were really, really good. C sharp was good, but the first time it didn't quite do that other thing that a C sharp needs to do. And then the second time it did. It flew off to something else. Now, when you, in everything that you sing, you never ever sing those notes that high. But again, as I do with all of my students, you need to stretch the vocal cords, let them go up there, let them do that. I know when you do the exercise, you like singing those notes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to sing that in a piece of music. I get that, that's fine. You don't have to sing up there. In fact, I'm going to tell a story on Nellie. Nellie has these beautiful notes way up here. She hates singing that. And when she comes back and we discuss it, she can talk about that. But they're gorgeous. They're up there. And I take her up to a high E flat and she's like, I don't want to sing that. And that's fine. She doesn't have to sing that. Anyway, that's lovely. Thank you so much for doing this and participating.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, Donna.
Thanks for watching Donna Reed Talks Voice. If you have any questions for me about this episode, or if you'd like to join me on a future episode, please visit donnareedtv.com and click Contact.